Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, represent one of the most ambitious global initiatives ever undertaken to address the pressing challenges facing humanity and the planet. Established in 2015 by the United Nations, the SDGs comprise 17 interconnected goals designed to serve as a blueprint for achieving a better and more sustainable future for all by the year 2030. These goals are not just lofty ideals. They are concrete targets that touch upon every aspect of human existence, from eradicating poverty and hunger to promoting gender equality, fostering economic growth, and safeguarding the environment. The SDGs acknowledge the complex interrelationships between social, economic, and environmental sustainability, recognizing that progress in one area often depends on advances in others. The genesis of the SDGs can be traced back to the Millennium Development Goals, MDGs, which guided international development efforts from 2000 to 2015. While the MDGs achieved significant progress in areas such as reducing extreme poverty and improving access to education and healthcare, they were criticized for being too narrow in scope and for not sufficiently addressing issues like inequality, environmental degradation, and the needs of marginalized groups. Learning from these lessons, the SDGs were formulated through an inclusive and participatory process that involved governments, civil society, academia, and the private sector from around the world. This broad-based approach ensured that the SDGs reflect the diverse priorities and aspirations of people everywhere, while also emphasizing the principle of leaving no one behind. At the heart of the SDGs lies Goal 1, No Poverty. Eradicating poverty in all its forms and dimensions remains the greatest global challenge and an indispensable requirement for sustainable development. Despite remarkable progress over recent decades, more than 700 million people still live in extreme poverty, struggling to meet the most basic needs such as food, shelter, and clean water. The SDGs call for sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, coupled with social protection systems and equal opportunities, to ensure that everyone can participate in and benefit from development. Addressing poverty is closely linked to other goals, such as ensuring access to quality education, Goal 4, promoting decent work and economic growth, Goal 8, and reducing inequalities, Goal 10. Closely related to poverty is Goal 2, Zero Hunger. Food security and improved nutrition are fundamental to human well-being and development. Yet, millions of people around the world still suffer from hunger and malnutrition, with children being particularly vulnerable. The SDGs aim to end hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. This involves increasing agricultural productivity, supporting small-scale farmers, ensuring equitable access to land and resources, and promoting resilient food production systems that can withstand climate shocks. Achieving zero hunger also requires addressing broader issues such as trade policies, market access, and the environmental impacts of agriculture. Health is another central pillar of sustainable development, enshrined in Goal 3, Good Health and Well-being. Universal health coverage, access to essential medicines and vaccines, and strengthened health systems are critical not only for individual well-being but also for social and economic development. The SDGs seek to reduce maternal and child mortality, combat communicable diseases like HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, and address the growing burden of non-communicable diseases. Mental health, substance abuse, and road safety are also given due attention, reflecting a holistic understanding of health. The COVID-19 pandemic has starkly highlighted the importance of resilient health systems and the need for global solidarity in responding to health emergencies. Education, as articulated in Goal 4, is both a fundamental human right and a powerful driver of sustainable development. Quality education empowers individuals, promotes gender equality, fosters innovation, and enables people to participate fully in society. The SDGs emphasize not just access to education, but also the quality and relevance of learning, including early childhood development, technical and vocational training, and lifelong learning opportunities. Special attention is given to eliminating gender disparities, supporting vulnerable populations, and ensuring that education systems are inclusive and responsive to the needs of all learners. Gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls are at the core of Goal 5. Despite progress in some areas, gender-based discrimination and violence persist worldwide, limiting the potential of half the world's population. The SDGs call for the elimination of all forms of discrimination, violence, and harmful practices against women and girls, as well as the promotion of equal participation in decision-making processes. Access to sexual and reproductive health, economic resources, and education are crucial components of achieving gender equality. Empowering women not only enhances their own well-being but also contributes to the prosperity and resilience of families, communities, and societies as a whole. Clean water and sanitation, addressed in Goal 6, are essential for life, health, and dignity. Yet billions of people still lack access to safe drinking water, adequate sanitation, and hygiene facilities. The SDGs aim to ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, recognizing the critical role these play in health, education, and economic productivity. Integrated water resources management, investment in infrastructure, and the protection of water-related ecosystems are key strategies for achieving this goal. Climate change, population growth, and urbanization pose significant challenges, making it imperative to adopt innovative and sustainable solutions. Energy is another vital enabler of development, as highlighted in Goal 7, affordable and clean energy. Access to reliable, modern, and sustainable energy is essential for economic growth, poverty reduction, and environmental sustainability. However, millions of people continue to rely on traditional biomass and lack access to electricity, particularly in rural areas of developing countries. The SDGs promote the expansion of renewable energy sources, improvements in energy efficiency, and increased investment in clean energy technologies. Transitioning to sustainable energy systems is not only necessary for mitigating climate change but also presents significant opportunities for job creation and economic transformation. Economic growth, decent work, and productive employment are the focus of Goal 8. The SDGs recognize that sustained and inclusive economic growth is necessary to lift people out of poverty and create opportunities for all. This requires promoting entrepreneurship, innovation, and access to financial services, as well as protecting labor rights and ensuring safe and secure working environments. Special attention is given to youth employment, gender equality in the workforce, and the eradication of forced labor and human trafficking. Achieving decent work for all also involves fostering sustainable tourism, supporting micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, and encouraging responsible business practices. Infrastructure, industrialization, and innovation are key drivers of development, as encapsulated in Goal 9. Building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation are essential for economic diversification, job creation, and technological progress. The SDGs call for increased investment in infrastructure, such as transport, energy, water, and information and communications technology, especially in developing countries. Supporting research and development, upgrading industries to be more resource efficient, and facilitating access to affordable credit are also critical components of this goal. Reducing inequality within and among countries is the focus of Goal 10. Inequality remains a persistent barrier to sustainable development, undermining social cohesion, economic stability, and political trust. The SDGs seek to empower and promote the social, economic, and political inclusion of all, regardless of age, gender, disability, ethnicity, or other status. This includes ensuring equal opportunities, reducing income disparities, facilitating safe migration, and enhancing the representation of developing countries in global decision-making institutions. Tackling inequality requires coordinated action across multiple sectors and levels of governance. Sustainable cities and communities are the subject of Goal 11. Urbanization is one of the defining trends of our time, with more than half of the world's population now living in cities. While cities are engines of innovation and economic growth, they also face significant challenges such as congestion, pollution, inadequate housing, and vulnerability to disasters. The SDGs aim to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable by promoting affordable housing, sustainable transport, participatory planning, and the preservation of cultural and natural heritage. Addressing urban challenges requires integrated approaches that balance economic, social, and environmental considerations. Responsible consumption and production, outlined in Goal 12, are central to decoupling economic growth from environmental degradation. Current patterns of consumption and production place unsustainable pressures on natural resources, ecosystems, and the climate. The SDGs advocate for the efficient use of resources, reduction of waste, and the adoption of sustainable practices throughout supply chains. This involves encouraging businesses, governments, and consumers to make more informed choices, promoting circular economy principles, and supporting innovation in sustainable products and services. Climate action is at the forefront of global concerns, as captured in Goal 13. Climate change poses existential threats to people and the planet, exacerbating poverty, hunger, disease, and conflict. The SDGs call for urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, strengthening resilience and adaptive capacity, and integrating climate considerations into policies and planning. International cooperation, technology transfer, and climate finance are essential for supporting developing countries in their mitigation and adaptation efforts. Achieving climate goals requires transformative changes across energy, transport, agriculture, and other sectors. Oceans, seas, and marine resources are the focus of Goal 14, Life Below Water. Oceans are vital for food security, livelihoods, climate regulation, and biodiversity, yet they are under severe threat from overfishing, pollution, acidification, and habitat destruction. The SDGs seek to conserve and sustainably use marine resources by reducing marine pollution, protecting ecosystems, regulating fishing practices, and enhancing scientific knowledge. International cooperation and effective governance are critical for managing shared marine resources and ensuring the long-term health of the oceans. Terrestrial ecosystems are equally important, as emphasized in Goal 15, Life on Land. Forests, wetlands, mountains, and drylands provide essential ecosystem services, support biodiversity, and contribute to climate regulation. However, deforestation, land degradation, and loss of biodiversity continue at alarming rates. The SDGs aim to protect, restore, and promote the sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, combat desertification, halt biodiversity loss, and ensure the fair sharing of benefits arising from genetic resources. Sustainable land management, reforestation, and the integration of biodiversity considerations into development planning are key strategies for achieving this goal. Peace, justice, and strong institutions are the bedrock of sustainable development, as outlined in Goal 16. Conflict, insecurity, weak institutions, and limited access to justice undermine development and perpetuate poverty and inequality. The SDGs call for the promotion of peaceful and inclusive societies, access to justice for all, and the building of effective, accountable, and transparent institutions. This includes reducing violence, combating corruption, ensuring participatory decision-making, and protecting fundamental freedoms. Strengthening the rule of law and promoting human rights are essential for creating the conditions in which sustainable development can flourish. Finally, Goal 17 emphasizes the importance of partnerships for achieving the SDGs. No single country, organization, or sector can achieve these ambitious goals alone. The SDGs call for revitalizing global partnerships and mobilizing resources from all sources, public, private, domestic, and international. This includes enhancing cooperation on technology, trade, capacity building, and data collection, as well as fostering multi-stakeholder partnerships that bring together governments, civil society, the private sector, and international organizations. Effective partnerships are essential for leveraging expertise, resources, and innovation to accelerate progress toward sustainable development. While the SDGs are universal, applying to all countries regardless of income level, the pathways and priorities for implementation vary according to national contexts, capacities, and circumstances. Each country is encouraged to set its own targets and develop strategies that align with its specific needs and challenges, while also contributing to global objectives. Monitoring progress requires robust data collection, transparent reporting, and the active engagement of all stakeholders, including marginalized and vulnerable groups whose voices are often overlooked. The SDGs represent an integrated and indivisible agenda, recognizing that social, economic, and environmental dimensions of development are inextricably linked. For example, investments in education and health contribute to economic growth and poverty reduction. Sustainable agriculture supports food security, environmental conservation, and rural livelihoods, and gender equality enhances social cohesion, innovation, and resilience. Achieving the SDGs thus requires breaking down traditional silos, fostering cross-sectoral collaboration, and adopting holistic approaches that address root causes rather than symptoms. Despite the progress made since 2015, significant challenges remain. Global crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic, armed conflicts, economic instability, and the escalating impacts of climate change have threatened to reverse hard-won gains and exposed deep-seated inequalities. Many countries are struggling to mobilize the necessary resources and capacities to implement the SDGs, particularly in the face of shrinking fiscal space and competing priorities. At the same time, growing awareness of sustainability issues, advances in technology, and the emergence of new partnerships offer unprecedented opportunities to accelerate progress. One of the distinguishing features of the SDGs is their emphasis on inclusivity and participation. Achieving sustainable development is not solely the responsibility of governments. It requires the active involvement of civil society, the private sector, academia, local communities, and individuals. Youth engagement, in particular, is recognized as critical, given the transformative potential of young people as agents of change. The SDGs also highlight the importance of respecting human rights, cultural diversity, and indigenous knowledge systems, which are essential for designing context-specific and culturally appropriate solutions. Innovation and technology play a crucial role in advancing the SDGs. Digital technologies, renewable energy, biotechnology, and data analytics are transforming the way societies produce, consume, and interact. Harnessing these innovations can drive efficiencies, expand access to services, and enable new models of sustainable development. However, the digital divide and unequal access to technology risk exacerbating existing inequalities unless deliberate efforts are made to ensure that the benefits of innovation are widely shared. Financing the SDGs remains a major challenge. Estimates suggest that achieving the SDGs will require trillions of dollars in additional annual investment, far beyond the capacity of public budgets alone. Mobilizing private sector investment, strengthening domestic resource mobilization, and enhancing international development cooperation are therefore essential. Innovative financing mechanisms, such as green bonds, impact investing, and blended finance, are gaining traction as ways to channel resources toward sustainable development objectives. Accountability and transparency are foundational to the success of the SDGs. Regular monitoring, reporting, and review processes help track progress, identify gaps, and inform policy adjustments. The United Nations High-Level Political Forum on Sustainable Development serves as the main platform for follow-up and review at the global level, complemented by national and regional mechanisms. Engaging citizens and stakeholders in these processes enhances legitimacy, builds trust, and fosters a sense of shared ownership. Looking ahead, the SDGs offer a powerful vision for a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. They challenge us to rethink traditional models of development, to recognize the interconnectedness of our actions, and to commit to collective responsibility for the well-being of people and the planet. While the road to 2030 is fraught with obstacles, the SDGs provide a common framework for action, innovation, and partnership. Realizing their promise will require unwavering political will, sustained investment, and the active participation of all segments of society. Ultimately, the SDGs are not just goals for governments or international organizations. They are a call to action for each of us to contribute, in whatever way we can, to building a better future for current and future generations.